What does decentralization mean to you?
It means there's no central authority, that each person is autonomous, sovereign person, responsible for their own well-being and care. There wouldn't be any authority.
I like that. That's a good view on it. The way I would view it is it's the realm of infinite possibility, right? It's, other people would equate that to the universe. Another way to look at it is that it's mycelium, and anywhere it goes, light follows. There is a mycelium network being set up right now of trustless systems that are going to act as decision makers in the future, but all of us will have an input on how they work. That's why I say eventually there's going to be a tipping point where more people are going to be voting in decentralized autonomous organizations because of this than they are for people to make decisions out there in Central, because they're going to have a voice in it where they would have to go to their elected official, explain their purpose, and then if there's anybody that's more powerful that's against that, it goes away. That doesn't happen here because everybody sees it and they can view it, and if it resonates with them, they'll vote. So it's community-based design, community-based governance, community-based everything. And people get confused because they're like, oh, this is a centralized or a hybrid, or this doesn't do that. No, all actors are welcome. There are all different types of platforms out there, guys. Don't get all caught up on one and how one of them works. It's that and everything else. Just remember, mycelium is the thought in humanity that's creating all very specific understandings that people have to get to that point. And zero marginal cost economics is one of them. Exponential economics is another. Eventually, yeah, there will be a point where the zero marginal cost effect of goods and services being produced by these platforms that are decentral will allow philanthropy to perpetuate them. And then there's other mechanisms developing right now in decentral where every buy, sell, and transfer of a coin is donating to real world substantial things. So we're starting to see real world utility out of crypto, just buying, selling, and transfer. And this is just out of the charity realm. There's charity and everything else is in there too, guys. Remember. So my opinion is there will be a decentralized open source version of everything at no cost. And that's being developed right now. This is great because this is a requirement in my mind for these platforms to sustain. So think about all of this by the way humanity thinks, not by any particular thing. Stigmergy is a very important word. It's an indirect force that creates an action that a subsequent action is then picked up on by that same indirect force. It does prove that the way humanity is thinking is very sigmergic at this point. So humanity's thinking is creating these products, services, decentralized platforms, which I believe will create a global safety net. I believe it, outside of the guise of our leadership in our national boundary jurisdiction. And this will all be done by the people at the ground level, which are in every single country and participating now already. Do any of the leaders in the politics with the people that the centralized bias focus on say anything about any of this? No, because it challenges them, challenges their leadership, it challenges their power. So we're going to see, oh, we're going to ban this, we're going to ban this, we're going to ban this so we can maintain our power. And that started a decade ago. And crypto's only 14 years old, 15. Permissionless and trustless. And trustless means that you don't need to trust anybody else or any third party for the system to function. So the permissionless, trustless systems are going to be this mycelium network within this decentral that form this safety. It matches to values that want to fix these problems that all the activists are involved in. All right. But I don't know how many activists are actually involved with these things because they're not solution oriented outside of centralization. Oh yeah, because it's that and everything else. Because the centralized system is part of this, and you have to remember that.
Say that again.
The centralized system is part of this because all the actors that are participating in the decentral have a role in the central. You understand now? Saying that, I'm just saying this is way deeper than any one person is going to understand. And even me, I don't understand all of it. I just know that this is a governing dynamic and people do not focus on it at all. There will be pieces that are under development now that will completely replace parts of the central. And then there will be other pieces that partner with it and integrate with it. So it's a win, 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 win. And it's the last two wins are for all life on the planet and the planet itself. So in these platforms, you can internalize all of the externalities that all of the activists are complaining about in a consensus mechanism by the consensus protocols. All right. And then you reward the people that use the platform the way it's supposed to be used. And that's reputation based. So you know which platform you're on because it matches the values and it's solution oriented to problems that you care about. And you don't even have to focus on the problem because the solution orientation makes the problems obvious and you don't even have to talk about it. So people don't see these things in their life, but their quality of life is going up without having to spend any more money. And they're interacting with these things right now, doing it, not realizing. So that means that the entire piece under the supply, because it goes all the way down to zero, and that asymptote approaches zero continuously, but never reaches it. So there will always be profit margin until full decentralization comes in and philanthropy perpetuates these things. But to kind of get a grasp on the economics of it, you're going to want to look into Moore's law. So more specifically, Wright's law. He noticed that for every cumulative doubling of production, the price per unit decreases by X. This is a law, guys. This happens. We call this the learning curve. If you think about it, there's so much R&D and different technologies that you would have to combine together to get to the point we are now. The smartphone, you can absorb all camera technology, all communication technology, all video technology from its origin into one device now that's being dematerialized into a contact or a brain computer interface. So it's all meaning if we can produce this product, minimum viable product, and it's subject to zero marginal cost with network effects and, Wright's law, Moore's law kind of effects, and then you start to see, oh, I can project movies on my wall for free now because I have a phone that can do that. So then you don't need a TV. So there's a lot of things that are going to start to happen that allow you to do these things without having to pay for it. And people just take it for granted. But yeah, you can contact someone with video call on the other side of the world for free now, where that would have cost millions of dollars when it first started. The more we see anything that's digitized now, this all starts with digitization, the next evolution of this process, of this zero marginal cost process, because we're on the brink of, AI being smarter than humans in every aspect. But what people aren't taking into account right now, and it's just kind of on the peripheral, but we're starting to see more visuals of it, these humanoid robots are going to change the world, okay? And the cost of labor is going to drop to zero because of this. All right, so there will be no jobs, period. Anybody telling you different is lying, all right? And the AIs will be able to do it to any white-collar job right now. They can do it now. What the employers have been waiting for is a way to digitize the physical world. And they can do that with these robots because you give the robot a prompt and then the physical world changes. Do you understand? All right. So digitization is about to manipulate the physical world. All right. So now where's the barrier there? So then you can create these things that are virtual and connected to real world assets and develop value from both of them. Shelters can become fractionalized NFTs that are paid for permanent, and rights to stay in there are confirmed on the blockchain because of decentralized digital ID, and robots will protect them. Robots will start to protect people from things that they don't like, people getting killed for no reason, wars happen, people just trying to set up a place to live and then a fucking army coming in and wiping them out. Robots will stand in front of that from now, all right? And they will cage these people and make examples. That's right, because these robots are going to be building in the open source too. They're going to be helping the brand names first, but when they get out of the manufacturing plants, it's all over. Like I have a vision that it's going to be humanitarian, public works, and home economics. That's where these robots are going to go, and there's going to be 20 billion of them by 2040. And there will be 10 billion of them by 2030. And this is the next race. So remember, like the space race, the AI race and the robot race is happening at the same time and right now. The race for AGI and the race for humanoid robot supremacy. So all the cities that are getting invested in humanoid robots right now will win. And Detroit is one of them. And Ford's doing it. So I'm very proud of them finally stepping up. They might survive. If you have labor being eliminated as part of the cost in manufacturing, prices are going to come down, all right? Especially if it comes out of decentral. Brand names will always put a markup, and they'll always do that. And there will be very few people that buy them. Brand names will be catered to the wealthy of the wealthy, and that will still exist. But nobody's going to be made
worse off because of it, period. Yeah, digitization, the fact that we're about to see real technological unemployment, not this BS that everybody's been complaining about with kiosks and shit. I have no idea what's about to happen. Zero. And all of your employers are like, how quickly can I automate jobs? Can I eliminate? That's their focus globally right now. So we're talking about people like you and me owning entire conglomerates and automating it with AI and robot, and starting by just telling an AI to go raise some money and do it. That's going to be possible. I mean, if the idea is good enough, all ideas will be weighed and measured by the community. Yeah, and anybody who's just locked into the externalities of our current manufacturing process, it's all about to change. This decade is the last decade that will happen, period. Just one quick last piece on the recording for the zero marginal cost. When you incorporate the 6Ds into zero marginal cost, your supply and demand graph turns into one line and then an asymptote that approaches zero. That's what it is. So the formal definition of abundance is unlimited supply at zero cost. And then they put theoretical next to that in the textbooks that I teach. But if you have an asymptote that's approaching zero, it's the same in terms of being able to have a profit margin and make your target market the world population. And that's what these new platforms are doing. It has nothing to do with America, nothing to do with China, with Iran, nothing to do with any of that. And they're all participating. So when I say wake up, this is what I mean.